All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, Today we're looking at something that feels like it's ripped right out of science fiction.
Yeah.
We're talking about Marmara University and their new AI policy for education.
Wow.
We've actually got excerpts
Oh, wow.
from the policy document itself,
Okay.
translated from Turkish.
Wow.
And believe me, this is not just some, boring tech jargon.
Right.
This policy really lays out a vision for how AI could completely reshape the classroom.
Yeah. This is a really interesting one because they're not just talking about, using AI in a few very specific ways.
Right.
They're really envisioning a future where AI is kind of woven into the entire learning experience,
Yeah.
from, attending lectures all the way to taking exams to even doing research.
Well, let's dive right into that.
Okay.
One thing that really caught my eye was this concept of using AI to analyze student understanding, like in real time during a lecture.
Ew.
So imagine you're sitting there in a lecture hall, and the AI is almost like this silent partner.
Yeah.
It's noticing which students are getting lost or maybe zoning out.
It's really fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like having this invisible teaching assistant who can pick up on all those subtle cues that maybe even the most, attentive professor could miss.
Right.
And imagine the possibilities for personalizing the learning experience.
Yeah.
Like, if the AI senses that a large portion of the class is struggling with a particular concept, it could alert the professor,
Oh, that's interesting.
to maybe adjust their approach right there on the fly.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
It's like the AI is bridging this gap between a one-size-fits-all lecture
right.
and like individual tutoring.
Exactly. And think about how this could transform the lectures themselves.
Yeah.
We might see a move away from this traditional, stand and deliver format to something way more dynamic and interactive,
Right.
where the AI is actually helping tailor the content to the students' needs, like right there in the moment.
So you're saying lectures might actually become, dare I say, engaging.
Well, that's the hope, right?
That's a game changer. Okay. But let's talk about something that's maybe a little more Big Brother-ish.
Okay.
This policy talks about AI supervising exams
Yeah.
to prevent cheating.
Uh-huh.
I'm all for academic integrity. But how is an AI going to catch someone, like discreetly glancing at their phone under the table?
Well, that's where the sophistication of these systems really comes in. We're not just talking about, simple cameras recording the room.
Right.
This is AI that can analyze like multiple data streams at once. So think about it. It
Yeah.
could be tracking eye movements.
Wow.
It could be analyzing posture shifts.
Okay.
It could even monitor things like changes in heart rate or even skin temperature.
Right.
That might indicate, stress or deception.
That's some next level stuff.
Yeah.
But it does make you wonder, if students might feel a little observed.
Yeah.
Like they're constantly under scrutiny,
Right.
even during exams.
Mhm. It's definitely a valid concern, and I think it highlights the importance of transparency and ethical considerations.
Yeah.
When we are implementing these technologies,
Right.
students have to be informed about how this AI is being used, what data is actually being collected. And of
Okay.
course, there's the question of data privacy and security that needs to be addressed very carefully.
Absolutely. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about something that I think every student and every teacher dreads,
Yeah.
grading.
Ugh.
The policy hints that AI could really step in and lighten the load here.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine an AI that could sift through all those essays in a fraction of the time.
Yeah, the policy specifically mentions AI assisting with grading,
Okay.
not completely taking over.
Right.
And I think that's a really important distinction.
Right.
The idea is to leverage AI's ability to process information quickly and consistently
Oh, yeah.
to help instructors streamline the entire grading process.
Right. Like, what would that look like in practice?
Well, for example, the AI could be used to flag potential plagiarism. It could identify, common errors.
Yeah.
Or even provide feedback on, basic grammar and structure.
That makes a lot of sense. But doesn't this raise concerns about fairness?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how can we be sure that these AI graders are really up to the task?
Yeah,
Especially when we're talking about, subjective subjects like literature or philosophy.
you're right to bring that up. It's absolutely crucial that Any AI that's used for grading is carefully trained and tested
Right.
to make sure that it's not perpetuating biases
Yeah.
or overlooking nuances in student work.
Right.
Human oversight, I think, will always be essential,
Yeah.
especially in those areas where subjective judgment and critical analysis are so key.
So it's really more about collaboration than replacement.
Exactly.
The AI is a tool to support instructors,
Yeah,
not to push them out of the picture.
exactly. And that brings us to another crucial point.
Okay.
How does this policy envision AI actually empowering students themselves? Yeah.
One example that they mention is using AI to help with tasks like literature reviews for research projects.
Okay.
So imagine a student who's working on a really complex research paper.
Right.
Now, instead of spending hours and hours sifting through countless articles, the AI could help them to quickly identify the most relevant sources
Okay.
and even summarize the key findings.
That would be a game changer. I remember spending so many hours in the library
Oh, yes.
for research papers, just feeling completely overwhelmed
Right.
by the sheer volume of information.
It's like you're not replacing the effort. You're just upgrading it.
Yeah.
The AI is handling all the grunt work,
Right.
so you can focus on the really interesting stuff like, developing your own arguments or diving even deeper into the research.
It's all about working smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly.
And here's something I really appreciate. Marmara University is emphasizing that these AI tools need to be accessible to all students. Absolutely. Equity and inclusion are essential considerations here.
Yeah.
And I think this policy recognizes that if AI is going to be part of the learning experience,
Right.
every student needs to have equal opportunity to access
Right.
and benefit from these tools.
So wrapping it all up,
Yeah.
Marmara University is proposing some pretty radical changes,
Mm-hmm.
but it also feels like they're trying to strike this balance
Yeah.
using AI to enhance,
Right.
not replace,
Yeah.
the human element of education.
Yeah, I think that's a key takeaway here.
Yeah.
It's not about pitting AI against teachers or against students.
Right.
It's about exploring how these technologies can be used thoughtfully,
Yeah.
ethically,
Yeah.
to create a more engaging,
Yeah.
more personalized,
Right.
and ultimately a more effective learning experience for everyone.
It definitely leaves me wondering, though, if AI does become more common in education.
Yeah.
What skills are going to be the most valuable for students to develop? Is it critical thinking? Is it adaptability? Is it creativity? Or is it something that we haven't even thought of yet?
Right.
It's definitely something to ponder
Yeah,
as we navigate this exciting and maybe a little daunting future of learning.
absolutely.
All right. Thanks for joining us for another Deep Dives.